Namaste, Jai Gurudev. Good evening to all of you. Let us start our session with prayer. Sit upright. Gently close your eyes. Just witness your incoming and outgoing breath. Now we'll recite Om 3 times. Breathe in for Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadita Mastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Contemplate upon the meaning of this prayer. And once again, take one deep, long breath in. And while exhaling, slowly open your eyes. Namaste, Jai Gurudev. So friends, yesterday we were discussing about particularly the Karma Siddhanta, the theory of karma. And we found that the person who has developed the sensitivity, here we used to call Viveki, for him everything is painful in this world because he witnesses the change in this world. So the further sutra here, although this we have already discussed in our first lecture, because our ancient masters, when they were experimenting with a view to face this dukkha or the worldly problems, they have developed that strategy, and that strategy is very much similar to the medical science. As in medical science, there are 4 pillars on which the medical science is standing. What is that? It is a disease, cause of disease, health and treatment. So you may call it treatment and health. So similarly, this is applicable. We have already discussed in our first lecture that the physical problems cannot be overcome with the help of man-made means. Although the physical problems cannot be overcome unless we know the cause of the problem. And unless we know the cause, we may not be able to prescribe the treatment. So this strategy, fourfold strategy, is applied our ancient masters with a view to understand our relationship with this world. While analyzing this pain or dukkha, suffering, Mahatma Buddha, his first lesson, he has given this in first lesson, the Four Noble Truths of Buddha. So the same is not only Buddha, but almost except the Charvaka, all our Indian philosophers, they have accepted this. And this journey they have made clear that unless we dive deep into this fourfold strategy, if we don't understand this fourfold strategy properly, we may not be able to overcome. In the beginning of the lecture, first lecture, even in Sankhya philosophy, it was discussed that dukkha traya vigatat. We have already made clear what is dukkha, and when the things are not falling as per our will and wish, we call it dukkha. That is the connotation. And we have already discussed about the adhyatmic dukkha, bhautik dukkha, devik dukkha. So we are not going in detail of that, but just giving the idea that what is a heya? This fourfold strategy as disease, cause of disease, treatment or health. Similarly, heya, hetu, han and hanupaya. It is one and the same. Buddha says dukkha, dukh samudaya, dukh nirod, and ashtamag. This is the terminology used by Buddha. This terminology is used by Patanjali in his sutras. That is what we are going to discuss now. Heya means, in generally, it means that which is to be avoided. No one wants pain in this world, and therefore the pain, suffering, misery falls under this category of heya. As we cannot give any treatment unless we know the cause of the disease, similarly, we have to understand what is the cause of this suffering. This is what is to be understood. Here, Patanjali says, in the 16th sutra of the second chapter, he says, Heyam dukkham anagatam. Heyam, heya is a dukh, but which one? Anagat, which is not yet come. Now here, we have to pay little attention. Friends, yesterday we were discussing about the karmasha, the storehouse of various subliminal impressions which we have brought along with our birth. So that is what is the past. Whatever we have experienced, that is stored up in our unconscious or subconscious, whatever. So Patanjali says that you can avoid this suffering, the past suffering which you have experienced, you cannot do anything for them. The karmasha which you have brought, that is to be experienced, whether it is a painful or pleasurable. So whatever the problem, the present problem, present suffering, it cannot be avoided. You can avoid only the suffering which is not yet come, anagat. So here we can understand that yoga somewhere or other is preventive, it is preventive. So whatever we have brought along with us, it is to be experienced. So we have to be clear. Our sages, our ancient masters, they have made it clear that we cannot do anything for the past and we cannot do anything for the present problem. If we really want, we can avoid only the future suffering. And only by avoiding the future suffering, in other words, only by avoiding the formation of that karmashe, again, if we stop that process of this formation of this karmashe, then only we can overcome this suffering. But now the question comes, what is the cause of this here? Cause of this dukkha, cause of this suffering? As we understand what is the cause of this disease, so we try to find out the cause, we go for MRI, we go for the X-ray and this and that with a view to diagnose the problem. Similarly, now our ancient masters, they have said, particularly when we talk in terms of Patanjali, he says that the cause of this problem is that Drashta Drishya Sanyogo Heya Hetu. This is the 17th chapter here. Heya Hetu. Cause of suffering means misidentification. Drashta Drishya Sanyogo, association of this Drashta and Drishya. It is said to be the Hetu, the cause of this Heya. Drashta and Drishya. What is this Drashta? What is this Drishya? It is to be understood. Actually speaking, the whole this cosmos, we see, we have divided this cosmos. It is what you call this, in the form of Drashta and Drishya. We are what you call, consider ourselves at the seer along with this body, and whatever is rest, whatever is observable, that we see that it is a Drishya, means the seen. Actually speaking, the total psychosomatic organism of human body is observable, actually speaking. But here Patanjali says, we have to understand this because it is a big question. So Drashta Drishya Sanyoga, this misassociation of this Drishya, as in Drik Darshan Shaktyor Ekatmakta, when we have understood this Asmita Klesh yesterday. So it is the same. Drashta, yesterday I was talking, so long this Drik Shakti, our witnessing principle, it witnesses the activities of the Chitta and considers that it is happening with us only, that is called Drashta. Otherwise, it is a Drik Shakti only. So that this is a misassociation. Although these two are different, what you call the entities, but they are blend together here. So misassociation or misidentification. As I am mistaking myself as B.R. Sharma, and this is the form, actually speaking. So for the sake of means empirical label, it may be useful, but ultimately this is not what you call. In our village, there was one shopkeeper, Sardarji, and whenever you go to his shop to fetch something, so he was always keeping the doors closed. So you have to go and knock the door. And from inside, he will loudly say in Punjabi, Keda Sharir hai bhai? What is the name of this body? So during that time, it was not understandable to us because we were too young. But the meaning of that, so we are misidentifying ourselves with that which we are not, and therefore it creates problem, it creates dukkha. This is why we are mistaking this. In the further sutra, Patanjali has made it clear, Tasya Hetur Avidya, that yesterday we have discussed. When we are mistaking the impermanent as permanent, impure as pure, whatever is painful, we are considering it is today as pleasurable. Whatever is anatam, which is not atma, which is not the self, we are considering it self. So this is the mistake. So it is a mistaken knowledge. Because of this mistake, the seer identifies itself with the drishya, with the scene, and that is the problem of our all problems. Yesterday, it was made clear that this avidya is, it is said, avidya kshetram. It is with avidya is that field in which this asmita broughts, I amness, where blended of this drik shakti and darshan shakti sprouts. So that is what here, this is drashta and drishya is the main cause of our problems. That is what it says. Now, in the further sutra, we may come back, but here, let us give you the idea. Then as a health, or here is hana. So what is the hana? When there is no perception error, when we do not misidentify ourselves with this, which we are not, then there will be no misassociation. And when there's no misassociation, that is the health, that is the freedom, that is what the swastha, when we, it is a par excellence health, when we stay in our own swarupa. So this is called health. This is called swastha, when we stay in our own swarupa. So this is a ultimate. But what is the treatment? So treatment, hanopaya. What is the treatment? Hanopaya means the means to achieve that, means to remove this curtain, this what you call the avidya. And as you know, the example was given, the sun which is veiled by the black clouds, there is a darkness. It's the same condition, As we remove this, what you call the clouds, if with the help of this ear here means the knowledge. If we remove this avidya, remove these clouds which are covering the sun, if we remove this, sun is already there, present. So as we remove this, what you call the curtain, automatically there will be no misassociation and will get established in our own swarupa. So that is the ultimate, what you call the health state or the ultimate goal. What is the hanopaya? Only knowledge. With the help of knowledge. Which kind of knowledge? That sutra we are going to discuss. Abhiplav. Abhiplav means unshaking. Knowledge which is based on our own concrete experience. In this journey, others' knowledge cannot help. We have to cultivate our own way. And therefore, we need to develop that kind of shraddha for this knowledge, for this anubhuti. Shraddha we have to cultivate. This shraddha will increase our enthusiasm, our sahas. We will become courageous, towards that side. And then only our memory will be pertinent. Only when you are experiencing something, at your own level, this experience will multiply with the other experiences, and then automatically that kind of pragya will be cultivated. So here, that knowledge which is based on our own concrete experiences, that knowledge can help us to overcome this, what you call the vidya. And once the vidya is removed, this misidentification will be removed. What is the treatment? Abhiplav viveka khyati. That unshaking knowledge is only the, what you call the treatment, nothing else. This is what the fourfold strategy which is discussed by Patanjali. In the further sutras, what is now the question is that what is this drashta, what is this drishya, and what is this sanyoga? All three things are systematically discussed by Patanjali in the further sutras. And unless we understand these three, drashta, drishya, and this association, existential relationship between these two, I think we will not be able to remove that curtain. So therefore, there is a need to understand this, all the three. So let us understand. So drashta is explained by Patanjali in the 20th sutra, but in the continuity, in the 18th sutra, he says, Prakash Kriya Sthiti Shilam Bhutendriyatmakam Bhogapavargartham Drishyam. What is Drishya? Three things are discussed in this sutra. What is that? Prakasha, Kriya, Sthiti, Shilam. Shilam means nature. Having the nature of Prakasha, illumination, Kriya, activity, and Sthiti, the steadiness, which restricts the activity. Now, here we can understand Patanjali this is called what you call Shila, means the nature of this universe. What is that? It has this Prakashakta, illumination. Activity can be seen in this world. Number three, the sthiti, the activity is restricted. Therefore, there is a time, space, and cause that this is observed. So, on the basis of this, thereafter he says, Bhutendriyatmakam, and this drishya, the scene, or this world, universe, Bhutendriyatmakam. Second, Bhutendriyatmakam, living being, divided into two parts, living being and non-living beings. Everything, the trees and all the creatures and this and that, stones, these are said to be the Bhutatmak Srishti, and here it is the Indriyatmak Srishti. So, and what is the purpose of this Drishya? Bhoga Pavargartham Drishyam. Bhoga Pavarga. Bhoga and Apavarga means, Bhog means experience. So, whether it is a painful experience or pleasurable experience, it is called Bhoga. Apavarga. Apavarga is emancipation or freedom or Kaivalya Nirvana, whatever it. Up means away. You know, it is a Sanskrit. Leave it aside, but the meaning is the freedom. In other words, so the purpose of this drishya is either to provide the bhoga experience to the seer or what you call. So it depends upon us to choose. Whatever we choose accordingly. If we choose apavarga, it was discussed with you, the two streams, you know. One stream is sansar prag bhar, means that is flowing toward the material side, sensory pleasure, me and mine. That is, it is going on. And it is going to give us the painful or pleasure. Yesterday we have halad paritap balaha punya punya hetutva. Yesterday we have discussed this. Halad means a pleasurable experience, and tap means the painful experience. So ultimately, it is going to give us that. Apavarga, if we make the choice, we have to go for this bhoga, and ultimately, when we strive, when we understand that everything is painful, and when we develop that sensitivity, and then only the process starts for the apavarga. So this both purpose can be served by this universe, bhoga and apavarga. Let us understand first of this Bhut Prakash Kriya Sthiti Shilam. We have to understand little bit. In the beginning, it was discussed that everything of this universe, according to Sankhya Yoga philosophy, is made up of threefold energy. What is that threefold energy? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. We have seen the evolution theory of Sankhya Karika also, wherein it is made clear that this, or yesterday also we have discussed, day before yesterday, regarding the Pratiprasava, Prasava and Pratiprasava. So this Prakashakta, illumination, is the characteristics of a Sattva. This Kriya is activity. It is what we call the characteristics of a Rajoguna, electronic energy. This illumination, it is a Prakashaktamka. It is a what we call this this electronic. This is a protonic energy, and this Kriyashilta means Kriyashilta, Sthiti Shilta. Sthiti is means the restricting the activity. That is Tamoguna, in other words. And it was discussed with you that all these three gunas, how they are working? They are working like a lamp. Lamp, you know. Pradeep Vacharthato Vritti. That is what in Sankhya Karika it is said. Prakashakta is the Sattva. When the lamp is burning, you see that there's a object in the room with the help of, when there's a dark, this, if the lamp is lit, you can see the upper part. This gives you the kind of illumination, prakashakta. So Sattva is equated with the light of the lamp. Now the oil is coming through the wick, it is a chalayaman chanchal, it shows the activity, and therefore it is equated with the rajoguna, because this oil comes through the wick, and then the restricted, the lower part is in the darkness, which is equated with the tamoguna. So all prakashikta, karyashilta and sthitishilta, this is what is the nature of this universe. And that is why yesterday, when we were talking about parinam, tab, dukh, sanskar, gun vritti virodhat, this is the sutra. Yesterday we have discussed this. This is sutra. Gun vritti virod. When there is a in the mode of behavior of these gunas, they have a, what you call, sometimes the tamoguna dominates, sometimes the sattva dominates, sometimes the rajoguna dominates. So that is what we have to observe actually. And when that already we have discussed in this regard. So that now coming to this, so all the three guna, this is the nature of this universe, which is working like a revolving wheel sometime, and that is the reason why our moods are changing. Sometimes we become sad, sometimes we become overactive, sometimes we become creative, sometimes dull. All this is going on. The purpose is to understand. So bhutendriyatmakam, bhutatmak srishti, the non-living being and living being, everything is come out of this threefold energy. And the purpose of this is bhoga pavargartham. Now, this is what is the drishya, and how Patanjali has given us in the further sutra, Vishesha Vishesh, Ling Matra Alingani, Gun Parvani. As you have seen, the sugar cane, it is having the parva, it is a knot hoti hai, knot, there is a knot. So likewise, it is called parva in Sanskrit. This knot, sugar cane में जो knot होती है, फिर एक दूसरी knot होती है उसके बीच का हिस्सा, उसके बाद फिर knot होती है, that is called parva. So gun parva, they are divided into 4 parts. Whole this universe is divided into 4 parts according to, it is one and the same. There is no difference between Sankhya and Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It is one and the same. He has used the different, what you call the terminology. He says Vishesha. Vishesha, here he has used Vishesha, Avishesha, Ling Matra, Alingani, Gun Parvani. He says Vishesha is a specific, particularized. That is called Vishesha. Now here we have discussed 16 elements. Remember the cause and effect theory. Remember the evolution theory of Sankhya Karika. On the basis of which it will be easy for us to understand. So it is a Vishesh. What is that Vishesh? Whatever is only the effect. 16 elements are said to be only the effects. What are they? Our 5 sensory organs, our 5 motor organs, and manas. These are the 11, and 5 gross elements, Prithvi, Jal, Tej, Vayu, Akash. These are 16 elements. They are said to be Vishesha. These are the Karana. Here I have written instruments. These are the instruments. With these instruments, we are observing this. These are the Visha. This Tanmatras, and this is called Visha. Visha means the object. So now, whatever you see, everything is made up of 5 elements. So it is called Visha, object. Now, if you see, then if you go little up, Avishesha are the 5 Tanmatras, sensory modalities. What are they? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Ras, and Gandha. These are the 5 Tanmatras, sensory modalities, these subtle elements we used to call. And here is the Asmita Matra. Asmita is Aham, in other words. Asmita is, that is Drik Darshan Shakti, that blended aspect of both the Drik Shakti and Darshan Shakti, that is the blended part. This is the Asmita, I amness, in other words. So these are said to be the cause as well as the effect. Now here we have to understand, these are the only 16 elements are said to be only the effects, and therefore they are said to be Vishesha. Vishesh means particularized, and they are said to be unparticularized, non-specific, because this Asmita Matra and Tan Matra, they are breeding again the what you call the effect, that is what the gross elements, and the Asmita from the all this what you call the this what you call the sensory motor organs, organs, as well as the manas. So all this comes out of this Asmita. So it is a cause as well as the effect, because it is effect. It comes from the Ling Matra. Ling Matra is, it is only Mahat at the universal level and at the level of Buddhi, Sarathi, what we call the Buddhi. It is the Ling Matra. It's having a emblem. It is having a, what you call the emblem. And this is Aling, this is a Mool Prakriti, which is said to be Abhyakt. From Ling Matra to all these gross elements, these all elements are said to be manifested world. And this Aling is said to be emblemless. It is what you call, it is Abhyakt, unmanifested. And here is the Purusha, here is the Gya. So Vyakta, Abhyakta and Gya. This is what is ultimately. So this is what the whole universe is. So here what we see is what we are mistaking, as I said in the beginning, that we are mistaking this, that as we see this cosmos, we see that I am separate from this cosmos. But when separation is established, not only up to the observer, but along with this body, along with I am different, so I can observe this universe. So this is what we forget, that our psychosomatic whole organism, हमारी मन बुद्धि, everything, psychosomatic organism is observable, as in Tetri Upanishad, when we talk about the Pancha Koshas, so everything, everything is observable. So everything is observable, and the observer and unless we understand. So what is the observer? Now the question comes. Here it is made clear. So we have to now, so this is according to Sankhya Yoga philosophy, this is what is the observable. Everything is observable. That is what here according to, and it is a cause and effect theory that we also will apply. Now he says that, what is this now? Drishya we have understood. What is the drashta now? Drashta is, or I think the time is over, so we stop here. Tomorrow we'll take up this drashta and the further journey. We are going sutra by sutra. So let us sit once again. We'll complete our session with prayer. So sit upright and gently close your eyes. 2-3 times witness your incoming and outgoing breath. Now we'll recite our prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyad Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Once again, take one deep, long breath in. And while exhaling, slowly open your eyes. Namaste.